On this edition of Cronkite Sports Report, a legend's son looking to make a name for himself.
A special player in a special program.
A volleyball player defending the net after defending her country.
And a golfer from Taiwan's long drive to ASU.
Those stories coming your way now on Cronkite Sports Report.
Hello and welcome to the Cronkite Sports Report. I'm Mackenzie Pavicic.
And I'm Anthony Totri. As student journalists at ASU's Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication, we look to bring you unique sports stories with connections in Arizona. Today we feature 4 stories from the world of Valley sports as our team takes a closer look at the players and people involved.
And we start in high school, where the day-to-day can be tough enough, but throw in being an athlete whose last name carries the weight of the world.
There's one football player at Hamilton High School who is grateful and proud of where he comes from, but still works on a daily basis to carve out a name of his own. I caught up with the wide receiver who hopes to one day be nameless. At Hamilton High School, there's a young man with the number 2 printed on a jersey he wears every Friday night. He's praised as a leader by teammates and coaches, with a work ethic that won't run out until he's reached the status of legend. That young man is Brendan.
Everyone knows that on the field that he can get the ball any play, anywhere, anytime. So that just helps our team out so much, and I know that I can always go to him.
Brendan plays wide receiver for the Huskies, and he's in the midst of a senior season during which he committed to play Division I football at the University of Colorado and was selected to play in the 2020 All-America game. But being a great wide receiver isn't new to Brendan, because doing so runs in the family. And once people know that, they often only see him as one thing.
Jerry Rice's son. Jerry Rice's son off the bat.
While Brendan is grateful to have the last name Rice and be proud of his father being widely considered the greatest wide receiver in NFL history, it's a constant reminder of who and what people say he has to live up to.
That last name holds a lot of gratitude towards everything, so you really have to look at it as like a blessing. But at the same time, it's my greatest downfall because I don't want to be recognized as just Jerry Rice's son. I want to be recognized as Brendan Rice.
I think you just let him know that, that's what he accomplished. This is what this person accomplished. What will you do? And, what kind of work are you going to put forward to make sure that you accomplish this or better? Because as a parent, of course, you always want them to be better than you are. I'm sure Jerry wants him to be better than him.
Being the son of an NFL Hall of Famer is one thing. Taking the criticism, verbal abuse from opponents, and expectations are another.
Just people saying, be Rice who, you'll never live up to your name. I have these such great expectations, but at the same time, there's days that I'm truly not, I do not want to live up to them. I do not want to go about my day being Jerry Rice's son.
Brendan's parents were never married, and Brendan never lived under the same roof as his father. But both Jackie and Jerry put any differences aside for the benefit of their son. And today, Brendan lives with his mother in Chandler, just a few miles from where he spends his time on the field as a Hamilton Husky. While Brendan and his mother lean on one another, it's his relationship with his father that's grown over the years. It's gone from a few phone calls here and there to the point where now Brendan and Jerry talk on a regular basis about so much more than just football, but about life.
Win the day. Win the day.
Despite the strengthened bond, Brendan is still forced to deal with the reality of being the son of a legend, which means always being compared to his father. But just like Jerry,
he can take a hitch route like he did the first game and go as far as the field is long.
And when the critics come calling, that's when Brendan earned his 21 collegiate offers and racked up 26 varsity touchdowns and counting in just 3 years. Those were the days that fueled the fire of a star in the making.
I want to be better than Jerry Rice. I want to be the greatest receiver of all time.
What's impressed me with him, with Brendan Rice, is that he's learned to do the things he doesn't want to do to be good at the things that he wants to do.
Brendan was considered too slow by some colleges, so he ran track. Some said he wasn't versatile enough. So now he plays both offense and defense. But his time on the field is temporary. And that's why off the field, Brendan's priority is family.
My mom is everything to me, absolutely everything. She went to hell and back for me, and I'm just eternally grateful for her, forever.
My kids are everything to me, period. There's, the mama bear does come out. They are the best thing I've ever done. So, yeah, they're everything to me.
It's cliche, but Brendan is the definition of family, faith, and football. Brendan may be the son of a legend, but a name doesn't make you legendary. And the thing about Brendan is he knows that. While he strives to one day be the best to ever play and surpass his father as the greatest wide receiver in NFL history, Rice will always be on the back of his jersey. While that won't change, Brendan isn't looking to be the next great Rice. Rather, he hopes to one day be so much more.
I want to go about this. I want to make my own brand as Nameless and leave my mark on the world forever. I want to leave my mark doing things around the community as well as doing stuff in the football field. And that's what it truly means to me.
Although we reached out to Jerry Rice on several occasions, unfortunately he was not available for an interview for this story.
And so you said 21 Division I offers. That is really impressive. What prompted him to choose Colorado?
So what he told me was that it feels like home, both in Arizona and from when he lived in Minnesota. But after talking to his mom, it could have been Alabama, Michigan, Oregon. She was going to be there.
Now moving forward, Brendan looks to end his senior season at Hamilton on a high note as the Huskies chase a state championship in the Open Division playoffs. And coming up next on Cronkite Sports Report, we take a look at a special league that's working miracles on the diamond. The Miracle League of Arizona provides a special place for children and adults with special needs to play baseball.
The diamond serves as an outlet for many, including 18-year-old Carson Harrell. Our Rob Warner takes to their field of dreams for more.
Keep an eye on the ball.
He may sound like a coach.
Foul ball.
Or even an umpire, but he's really one of the best players in the Miracle League of Arizona, a baseball program for children and adults with special needs.
Next battle.
He's Carson Harrell, the gentle giant that plays more baseball games with the Miracle League than anyone else. Standing at 6'6", 18-year-old Carson was diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder as a baby. His verbal communication skills are extremely limited, but it doesn't seem that way when he's on the field. Carson's father, Dave, says that here at the Dan Heron Field in North Scottsdale, everything slows down for his son.
It's his best place, and it's a lot like this pretty much everywhere he goes, because kids on the autism spectrum typically aren't friendly and outgoing. He is the most social autistic kid I've ever met in my life. His communication is limited. He communicates with smiles.
And smiles are all Carson has when talking about the Miracle League.
Boy, Miracle is my favorite thing.
Most Miracle Leaguers play one game a week. A few play twice. Carson, though, sets the record with 3 each week.
That's right.
And has done so for the last 7 years.
We bring each player a jersey for each one of their teams with their name and number printed on the back. I can guarantee you, after all these years and all the teams he's played on, he's got to have 50 Miracle League jerseys. I wouldn't be surprised if he sleeps in one for pajamas, if he wears one to school.
Carson's love for baseball goes beyond just playing. He also hits homers, and lots of them.
Without question, Carson has hit more home runs than anybody in Miracle League of Arizona history, has played in more games than anybody in our history.
Harrell has a consecutive game streak that rivals Cal Ripken Jr.'s. In fact, last year, he suffered a lower back injury so severe he had to go to the hospital. But on his way to the emergency room, Carson insisted on coming to the Miracle League to play his game first.
Still went 3 for 4. Didn't quite have the power or the speed that day that we're used to from Carson, but he got around the bases, took him a while. Most importantly, kept the streak alive.
He literally could not bend to get in the car. I had to lean the seat back, recline the seat so he could just pour himself into the car to get here.
I call Carson Tigger, like the Winnie the Pooh character, because he's always bouncing. And when he's bouncing, he's happy. And when he's happy, the dude's infectious. Everybody's happy.
It's the purest expression of him being happy.
He doesn't just play ball. Carson also conducts the national anthem and acts as a leader on his team. But more than all that, being a part of the Miracle League allows Carson to show who he really is even if he can't vocalize it.
Because he can lead through actions, and it isn't always words. You know, usually a leader has to be inspirational. Here it's just infectious. He didn't speak till he was 7. So before he could really speak, everybody thought there really wasn't much going on in there. And now you can see with just the skill level that he has and the ability that he has to draw people to him, he has some natural leadership abilities that can be recognized even without the communication.
And when he's on the field, Carson knows what he is.
Champion.
It gives him a place where he can shine. In a world where his communication is limited, where his academics are limited, there's a lot of, hey, he can't do this. There's nothing he can't do at Miracle League. When he comes here and he can be athletic and nobody has to worry about, you know, him communicating and him, you know, justifying and all of that. It's baseball as it was meant to be. It's a game.
The Miracle League has no age limit, so Carson hopes to extend his consecutive game streak for many more years to come. In Scottsdale, Rob Warner, Cronkite Sports Report.
Carson's love for Miracle League has even earned him some extra opportunities.
Last year, the organization selected him to throw the ceremonial first pitch at a Diamondbacks spring training game. After that, he spent time in the Miracle League. Carson took to the top of the mound and fired a strike.
Coming up next on Cronkite Sports Report, an ASU volleyball player defending the court after defending her country.
From defending her country to defending the court, sophomore Avital Jaloba's journey to play volleyball at ASU was anything but easy.
Cronkite News reporter Lindsay Amundsen introduces us to the Israeli native and her journey to Tempe.
From her first phone call with head coach Sonia Tomasovich, Avital Jaloba knew ASU volleyball was where she was supposed to be.
From the first sentence that she said, like, hey, my name is Sonia, I'm from Arizona State volleyball, I was like, I just felt something in my heart that I'm like, this is where I need to be. You can argue with feelings, and what Sonia made me believe that I can be.
When we were watching her on film, it was her arm, and we were like, okay, we need some middle blockers that can have a good arm in our gym.
As a native of Israel, it's been a long but rewarding journey for Jaloba to live out her dream of playing volleyball in the U.S. She first found her passion for the sport in 7th grade when Jaloba was accepted into an elite athlete boarding school. She became part of the Israeli senior national team when she was just 17 years old, where the future Sun Devil was playing with women twice her age.
I was just like practicing, but I didn't say anything. I was just like, oh my God, like she's just looking at me. I'm like, oh, I'm getting chills, and I'm like all excited. I didn't really know what to do, but everyone is like super nice.
When she was 18, she graduated from high school, and while most recent high school graduates head off to college, Jaloba had a 2-year military commitment to serve her country, per Israeli law.
I knew since ever that I have to go to the military because I love my country, and I need to do whatever I can do. For me, it was like, I just have to do that, and that's it.
During those 2 years, she would train for volleyball in the morning, perform her military duties, and then was back to the gym for more practice.
We have a lot of players from Israel that going here to America. So always when they tell me like stories and stuff, I just got like fire in my heart, and I was like so jealous. I'm like, oh my God, like I want to do that too. Like this sounds like so awesome.
It's Jaloba's volleyball skills that brought her to Tempe, but she's not the only one to come from a foreign country. Jaloba was first drawn to ASU because 5 of her teammates and 2 of her coaches also hail from a different country.
I knew that if there will be like even one more player that her parents gonna be far, it will make me feel less alone.
She's a tough kid, you know. She doesn't even know, at the times like she doesn't know how tough she is, and you know, it's kind of like, you know, you look at her, you go like, you know what you've been through compared to some other of these kids.
The hardest transition for Jaloba was the move to a country where English is the first language. Although she spent years with a tutor, she wasn't always comfortable in the beginning.
I'm not like a shy person, but if I feel like I can't communicate, so I'm like so quiet. Like in my first like 2 weeks here, I barely talked. I was like super shy.
But it was her teammates that helped her come out of her shell.
having like my best friend on the court is very easy to play with. Abby's the type of teammate that if you're down, she's gonna crack a joke and make you laugh and forget all about it.
She's a funny kid. She always says things that are to make everybody laugh, and she's full of energy. You know, she can get down sometimes on herself too, but it's usually like she's a spark of energy for everybody.
Jaloba has found a second family here with the Sun Devils, doing what she loves to do most.
I don't believe that there is anything else that I can do that's gonna make me be so happy, so mad. Like sometimes I wanna cry for hours, and sometimes I'm like so happy, and like it's the best feeling that I have something that I feel that all my heart is like on the court.
Jaloba hopes to continue to pursue her passion for volleyball after she leaves Tempe. She plans to continue her career playing professionally overseas once her days as a Sun Devil are over. In Tempe, Lindsay Amundsen, Cronkite Sports Report.
Jaloba plans to play professionally overseas for as long as she can, but also can't ever picture her life without sports.
And once her volleyball career is over, Jaloba plans to pursue a career in physical therapy as an opportunity to help other athletes. And after the break on Cronkite Sports Report, one ASU golfer's long drive from Taiwan to Tempe. His story up next. The ASU men's golf team consists of players from all over the world, but there is one player who left home and made the trek from Taiwan to pursue a dream that began when he was just 5 years old.
Matthew Roy has more on Kevin Yu's trip to the tee boxes in Tempe.
With a father who played professional golf and owned a driving range in Taiwan, Chun An Yu, also known as Kevin, pretty much grew up with a club in his hand.
My life was just, golf, just golf. Everything just golf.
He started swinging at just 5 years old and quickly proved himself a prodigy. He was only 10 the first time he beat his dad.
I remember I played really good that day, and my dad was playing good too. And then a few clutch probably in the end, and then beat him by 1 or 2 shots, I think. Yeah, so I started kind of making progress, started playing good, and then he was happy about it. Yeah.
Once he started winning, he didn't stop. You dreamed of playing on the PGA Tour, but he knew he would need to come to America and learn English to make it happen. So in 2015, he made a 6-month trip to Florida and the Gary Gilchrist Golf Academy.
Kind of brought me to how Americans live life, and then kind of know the culture, and then I get used to the food.
Yu's been traveling all around the world since he was 12 years old playing golf tournaments. But when it came time for him to either go pro or go to college, he chose college and traveled all the way from Taiwan to ASU.
You play golf, not just golf. You can learn so many things from your life, from your college experience.
Yu was recruited to ASU by then head coach Tim Mickelson and committed in the summer of 2015. But when Mickelson resigned and ASU hired current men's golf coach Matt Thurman before Yu's freshman year, Yu actually attending ASU didn't seem like a sure thing. So Thurman reached out to a mutual friend.
Fortunately, one of my best friends and guys I coached is CT Pan from Taiwan. I coached him for 4 years at Washington, was still in close contact with he and his now wife, and they were very close with Kevin. And we had talked a lot about Kevin even while I was at Washington. So I basically called them and said, hey, you need to help me here.
Pan is a pro golfer on the PGA Tour and is currently 58th in the world. Yu and Pan both played for Taiwan at the Asian Games in 2014 and have been like family ever since. Yu thought he was ready to forego college and jump right into the pro tours when he was 18. But Pan told Cronkite Sports Report via email that he and his wife helped convince Yu to go to college in order to be more prepared when he got his shot.
When we talk about it now, Kevin says, oh yeah, I was for sure coming, but I sure didn't feel that way at the time.
You had to get the right English tutor, get high enough scores on the TOEFL English Language Aptitude Test and SAT before he could be set to arrive on campus in the middle of the 2016-17 academic year. But he still hit the ground running by winning his 3rd tournament that he played in. The adjustment to American lifestyle, however, was the struggle.
I don't know if Kevin has even adjusted to American lifestyle. School was really difficult for him when he got here because he was still just barely learning English. But he battled through. He's a hard worker, and he's done well in school.
Another struggle was adjusting to his teammates. Spanish senior Alex Del Rey was Yu's roommate his freshman year, and that was a culture shock for both of them.
He was really organized. I was a mess. the food was like, I would cook something and he would be like, oh, that smells bad. And he would cook something, I was like, what is that?
Sarcasm was another adjustment for you. And with a roommate like Del Rey, that adjustment had to happen fast.
And occasionally when he got it for a while, he would kind of react aggressively, finally, like to defend himself. But he wasn't very good at it, you know? He just wasn't used to that game, and Alex is the pro at it. I mean, Alex will just wear you out.
Like when you beat someone so many times for so many years, like I probably did with Kevin, he gets to a point where he wants to reply back, and once he got it, like he's pretty funny on the road now.
Thurman thinks you will be a star on the professional tours, compete in championships, and win a lot of money. But you is focused on the task at hand.
When you want to be successful, I definitely want to play good, play on PGA Tour, win majors, but now I just, want to focus in the moment, like step by step.
Men's golf is now in their off season, so Yu has plenty of time to work on his golf game and his comebacks. In Phoenix, Matthew Roy, Cronkite Sports Report.
As Yu tees off down the stretch of the season, he's earned a spot in the World Amateur Golf Rankings.
He could move up to the top spot before his collegiate career ends, and he looks to transition to the PGA Tour.
That will do it for this episode of the Cronkite Sports Report.
Thanks for tuning in to get a deeper look at sports stories here in Arizona. We'll see you back for more on our next edition.